Hooray for another RC build. Let's see. Where are we? Cool. I got most of my stuff prepped and ready to go. Let me turn this down though. There we go. Let's see. All right. Question. What does all the color coding mean in the manuals? Does it mean they want green? Do they want red? I hate that because it's inconsistent. And then here SAB tells you exactly what they want. They're going to tell you when to use the 648 and when 243. And I know that this on bearings, hey, if you disagree, I get it. Just like there's people who say grease should never, ever, under any circumstance, go on these builds. Well, I'm going to trust engineers and go with what they say. What do we got here? Oh, just some swag stuff to get. I'm not interested. All right. Yeah, here you go. Anyways, page 4. Just the basics of what you're going to need. That's pretty standard, straightforward. And from there, this is what I thought was really cool and important. Finally, somebody took the time to tell me what the color coding on the charts mean, which I already suspected anyways, but if you remember my AK420 build, I was getting real bent out of shape on the color coding not being consistent. Anyway, all right. Oh, and yes, I already registered, so you can't use my registration. Here we go. Oh, man. I just love building. Page 5. There you go. I live for the build. Is it okay that I get more enjoyment out of the build than the actual flying? That's me. 5-1, 5-2, 5-3. I will procrastinate and drag out a build for months. Months. That's kind of beautiful and fitting that the very first thing they want you to do is pin your serial, which I did register this vehicle already. I'm kind of wishing now I would have grabbed a Kraken when they were down to $700. That was I was kind of torn. I picked up a 520 and a 420 over the break, but and the Kraken was a real close almost. The truth is, what ended up pushing me over the edge of not getting it was the lack of these quick connect battery trays, which I think is super slick. Being able to just slide it right into the rear and not have to. Some people like pulling their canopy off. I don't. When I put it on, I want it to stay on, if at all possible. Anyway, what we got here? M2.5 deal. There we go. 2.5 by 5 with a 1.5 head and Loctite it up. Where is my denatured alcohol? I am a big fan of it. I use it whenever I can on cleaning my components. Metal only, never plastic. Anything plastic, you want to, I mean, wipe it, dust it, whatever, but keep it silicone based, not petroleum based anything. People mock my because I use these little tiny keys. Like I said, I live for the build. I don't care if this thing takes me 30 hours to complete. You'll never ever see me get a kit and then it's done and ready the next morning. And for those that do, all right, that's cool. We all get different things out of this hobby. I was watching a Kyle Stacy video today. This is a game of between the house, the garbage cans, and my car, or something like that. And he was ripping. I mean, he's badass, but no, thank you. I will never be putting any of my personal property or effects at risk. I'm a really conservative, lazy flyer, I guess you could say. Like, I'm perfectly happy. Flying content and slow. What do we got here? I don't like that because I know the bearing is going to go in there. Anyway. Already assembled Loctite. That one went in the top there. It's already assembled with the Loctite in. Green Loctite on that bearing. Let's see. Dry Fluid Extreme. I like putting a ceramic coating, ceramic lube. There we go. Just spin it around and let the liquid work its way into the bearings. There we go. So what it is, as I was rolling it around, it grabbed the ceramic coating. And this stuff is essentially just PTFE. Here. That's what you're getting. It's like a $3 or $4 bottle. And then here's their branded for $20. And, you know, why not just, there I splurged. Maybe it has something that makes it just slightly better. I think it does. It applies much thicker and milkier. Four people watching. Let's see, I count for one. Probably my wife is watching. That's two. Whatever. Alright, let's see. 5.2. Already assembled with Loctite. Okay. Yeah, well, like I was saying, with the PTFE 3-in-1, it's essentially this same stuff as this dry fluid extreme. So for the vast majority of like my cheaper craft, I'll use this stuff just fine. It's perfectly fine. Like my micro helis and my cheaper craft that I don't really care about. But if I'm gonna put this in a SAB, sure. Give it just a little extra. Mm-hmm. Big 5.3. Nice. It's the little things. Like here, they put it in a sealed container, airtight. They don't want it. They want to make sure that you're not getting any debris or dust or whatever on it. Good on them. It's got a nice coating. It's a nice oiled coating. Okay. Very nice. All right, main shaft, upper and lower. Is there any hub side down? Alright, caliper time. Just in case. Alright, it is mirrored. I just wanted to be sure. Blue thread locker. Two, probably. Yep, alright. forgot to do that one with the... Hey, look, I messed that one up, my bad, but is it overkill? Yes. To do every single one? Yes. Is it a bad thing? No. Is it a good thing? Yes. There's nothing, I've talked to enough people, and they will absolutely 100% clean every individual fastener. So I let one slip by. Too late. It's already in there. I'm already ahead of 99% of the pack. And there you go there. There you go there. Oh, there's a machining burr. There sure is. You are gonna get a light little... I did not... Alright, now there you go. Hey, I just had the tiniest little sliver come out of this precision component. Back that out. Tell you what though, I remember one time I had a an XL power kit. It was a Nimbus V2. I guess their first edition or whatever, so they hadn't worked all the kinks out. Anyways, the mount had threads so poor that when I put it on, they shot out like a spring. In the main motor block, like one of them had I can't remember it when I fastened it in, and it was just spinning and spinning. I was like, what? So I pulled it out the thread, and just like a spring loaded. There we go. And we're in. Ooh, that is gonna be all kinds of sketchy. Hold on. There we go. In you go. And you. Everybody can come out here. Just there you go. Just clean up the tip a little bit. All right, that is a firm. Okay, pulley side down here is what they're showing me. Wow, those tolerances are nice. There we go. Yeah, yeah, those are great. Page 5 done. Page 6. These are the shims. And it looks like they gave me 2 shims. Tighten to 3 and I have to tighten and check the axial play for the main shaft. Three by 10s, 2.5 by 8. So there we go. We got 2 different screw sizes fastened here. That's good enough. So 3 there. 2, 4. All right. 3 by 10 is for the main bearing support. And 2.5 by 8 and 2.5 by 10. So the 8s and the 10. And they give a provided shim. There's a little play. I'm pressing the plate down. Alright, so I will go with their shim. They gave me two shims, and let's see if I can do it with one. After tightening, check axial play. Let's try for one. Yep, that was all it took. Don't need any more. All right. Good. You can go in the spare part bin. Microfiber towels. I got a healthy supply of them. And just run it through, make sure it's dry. Yeah, I love these medical grade Q-tips. These are, oh, I doubt that'll come in focus. Let's see. You get them on Amazon. They're foam, so they don't leave behind residue. All right. Three, 1, 2, 3. All right. No, everything centers around this. So don't screw it up. Just a little more on these other two. I use 2, and there we go. Just a teeny little bit more. That one's actually pretty close. There we go. No play, good. And now to fasten it in. Tighter. All right, that's good enough. And now just one more confirmation. Yep. Good. Yep, we're good. All right, yeah. I remember my first few builds, I would, I won't say I over cranked it, but I crank it pretty strong. Now I get them snug to where I feel like it's just about to stop, and then I give it just that little extra 2%. All right, next batch. Where's my scrubber? There. Plates go here. Okay. You know, I would approve if you just did one solid piece. Like, that's why I'm really interested in building a Soxos, because they have one solid center frame. I'd like to build one every time I've just want to build a Soxos. I just want to see. They're not that popular though. At least over here in the U.S. I think the helicopter scene is more prevalent in the UK, and definitely in Asia, for sure, as compared to like over here in the U.S. But it's I wasn't here for the golden age, the glory days, whatever. Yeah, I heard people saying that the hobby is dying. Like, oh, damn. I guess I don't have anything to compare it to. Clean out. Actually, yeah, I think, let me see. That would have been the better idea. Just applying the thread locker there directly. Yeah, that's a nice thin layer. That's better, I think. Beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful. Wait, is that is super subtle. Yep, there's one. Let's just see if we can fix that. It is the very teeniest little bit of grit. You don't have a choice. Yeah, there we go. All right, it's gone. Imperfection in the bearing. It's working its way. The ceramic coating helped. Oh yeah, you can actually feel it getting. As it works its way in. That's why I love this stuff. It's such a low viscosity. It just slips into every little nook and cranny. Like especially like when you're putting it on blade grips and you're nitpicking, the thrust bearing set, you can feel as you work it, it just gets smoother and smoother. So yeah, dry fluid extreme, this heli, high end Gleichstelt or Gleichstoff, whatever. It sounds fancy. It's just, it's a sort, like I said, it's a ceramic PTFE lube. And a little goes a long way. Much better. And this is stock. SAB had their own oil in there. It feels really smooth. Oh wow. Yeah. That's great. All right, that's good. Alrighty. Page 7, gears. Already assembled with Loctite. I I get nervous when they say already assembled because sometimes I don't believe them, you know? I've had kits, well, it's assembled. Like, no, it really wasn't. You just finger tightened. You didn't put any, you know, and that could be catastrophic. 727371. No need. That is nice. Socket head, scap screw. And just do one sampler. I felt that. It did have Loctite. I wasn't gonna risk it. Because my interpretation of already assembled means it's ready to rock. Oh yeah, they had it good. Yeah, let's clean that up and redo it. I will have faith in the SAB construction. Alright, good. Now back then. And ooh, yes, here comes the fighting words. To grease or not to grease? GL 261. Do I have a 76, 75? In the one-way bearing. It's a point of consternation on the SAB forums. Because there is it looks like it's already pre-greased. Yeah, I can see that already. It's already greased. Is that a packed bearing? Yeah, it's already greased. There's people that say you just lube it, oil, and others say no, grease it. Like, well, okay, grease, it's gonna thicken up, and chances of dirt and debris collecting in there. I don't fly in a dust bowl, so people in the South, I guess that's like, Texas, Arizona, California even. You know, Vegas, whatever. You're you have a lot more dust. My bane of my existence is cold weather and rain. I get about 8 months of just spectacular weather. Be jealous. Because for me, a hot summer day will be like 73, 74 degrees, and rarely, maybe 10 to 20 days out of the year, I'll be in the 80s. But then this time of year, it sucks because you're stuck indoors basically. The flying season is over. One-way bearing in, ball bearing in, ball bearing at the bottom in, screws down. Okay. So that's why I get to do a lot of builds over the winter. I get the winter builds in. Alright, so this comes pre-lubed as well. Good for you, SAB. Yeah. Anyway. I don't need to grease. Why does it have an exclamation mark? Do they have... Important. All right. Because this is already greased. It's got a very light oil coat, I can see that. And this came pre-greased. So I am, you know what, there we go. I will be your guinea pig. That feels beautiful. Let's pull, oh yeah, let's see where it looks. Yeah, it's greased. So I don't know why the manual's pointing to grease here. It's already been greased. Anyway. Note to SAB, put a little note in there saying, hey, we recommend you could put more, or we definitely want you to add more than what we've already put in here, because it is greased already. This is the kind of shit that makes me upset with these manufacturers. There, I'll bring that up later in my aftermath report. Let's see. Yeah, it feels fine. It feels beautiful. All right. And now they gave me 2 shims here to use if needed. Use if you have play. Face up, cup down. Alright, I will use one, it looks like. Nylon in. Alright. Is that a 2 or a 2.5? 2.5. I'm not tighten it yet. Alright, good. Jesus bolt. Jesus bolt, Jesus bolt, Jesus bolt. I don't like that. That is going to create vibrations. Where is it coming from? Because this is not the main wheel's good. Alright, well, the flywheel does work. My question is, why doesn't the tail also have a one-way in it? That is, so the yeah, there's a one-way in the I don't know. I guess maybe I never paid attention. It's their design. Anyways, back to my complaint though. This wheel. It's I don't know how to feel about that. It's the piece isn't milled straight. Or I'm just being overly picky. It is such a tiny little wobble. I guess nothing can be perfect, right? Anyway. Swash plate assembly. Page 8. Alright, hooray, servos. Nice. And tail servo. Torques. Oh, CL508s. I mean, they're not, it's not top shelf, but these are still, I think torque does pretty good. I mean, I'll start getting snobbish with more expensive, higher end helicopters, and then you'll see me put in the, you know, the $200, $230 servo or whatever, but I don't remember off the top of my head, but I think these were in the 70-ish ballpark, maybe 75. And the only thing you really don't want to skimp on is the tail servo. So like my 520 that I'm going to build next after this, I went with one of the Torque HLX, which, you know, that's I think that was a $150 servo for the tail. But like my my other craft, my, you know, like my Nimbus and Gemini, those have I put MKS HBL 880s in the tail for those. What I really am waiting on is these Aeon servos. I want to build my Genesis Sport. Anyway, those have been on pre-order forever. They got announced back in April, and that was 30 to 60 days. And here we are, what, 8 months later? Damn. I emailed them and their support, and they said that there were some delays with the manufacturing process. Anyway, to be fair, I was offered a full refund, and I declined because I respect a manufacturer and a seller if they're honest and candid with me. It's lies and deception, and being dishonorable that'll burn a bridge with me faster than anything. But if somebody comes at me like, oh, this is the truth, I'm like, okay. Like Mikado. I had an order that was screwed up, and instead of trying to cover and be just, I got an honest answer like, hey, I messed up, my bad. I know I made you a promise on something, and you slipped through the cracks because of the overwhelming. I get it. That's okay with me. And within like 3 or 4 days, they made right. But anyway, let's see. Page 8. There we go. It's like Helidrax made mistakes, and they make good on it. BK, I've had mistakes, and they make good on it. So, no shade on anybody who tries to make right. It's when a manufacturer does some dick move, like Tron. Fuck you. Fuck Tron. I'll never own another Tron again after the way they did me dirty with my Gemini. I don't care how amazing it flies. Fuck that shade company. I'll make a post one day. They had some glaring defects, and when I showed pictures of them, they ignored me I got HeliDirect involved, and they finally responded, and their answer was like, oh well, you're gonna have to disassemble your craft and mail us the defective parts, and then we'll why'd you assemble it? Like, look, it was crooked decals, like they were cut with a razor blade. The asshole cut them in half, put them on, because he had originally put it on crooked, and he had to cut it to get it to, and then he put his clear coat over it. Like, no, dude, you messed up the decal, put on a new one. Or just throw it in the defect pile. Just, accidents happen, I get it, but don't try to cover it up with just because you're having a shitty day. You're going to take it out on me. You suck. And Tron sucks, because I showed him, like, hey, this ain't cool. And their answer is, fuck you, disassemble the craft, mail us the pieces, and then we'll get around to fulfilling it. So basically, go fuck yourself. You're not flying for weeks, if not months, until we get around to shipping you the replacement. And I was like, I ain't having that. It was your boo-boo. So now I get to go to the bench and look at a big giant gash in the side, both sides of my tail boom. And then the front decal was on crooked too. And the blade grips had gashes in it because somebody was just tossing that shit around on the factory floor. Let's see. And so yeah, you have my utter contempt when you do that kind of nonsense. Servos, 8.1 servos. Do not over tighten the uniball, be careful. I'm gonna put the servos in without the horns on. I just 1.8 millimeter linkage ball. 1.8 millimeter out. Oh, Urban Legend RC. What's going on, my dude? How's life treating you? Oh, he bounced out already. I see. Let's see. Maybe I should put this over here so I can actually see when people chat to me. There we go. Yeah, my bad, people. When you come in and say hi, and I don't even see, because I didn't have, I had a tablet over off to my shoulder. Oh, I'm not really watching the chat. It's kind of ranting. Am I imagining this? Yeah, I was. That's precision. How much does that kit cost? Kevin, this, I think I got it on sale for 500 and, oh, I want to say 520, 530 bucks. I think normally they're 580 something. The cheapest part is actually usually the kit, which represents typically about a third of your overall cost. By the time you get in with the ESC and the servos and everything, you can splurge and just go. Like, for example, I got a Genesis Sport that's going to be building up next, and that was, I did a custom paint job on that, and by the time they shipped it to me, it was a little over $1,500. But then by the time I added the avionics and everything, it was another $3,000 on top of that. So it can get expensive, especially when you start getting into the 500 plus class. This whole kit overall was just under 1,100 bucks for everything I got. I didn't cheap out, but I didn't go like top shelf either. I'm a big fan of SAB kits in general. Let's see. We are going here. Servo go. Did always something the way servos do that. Oh, Goose Guy S1 and S2, right on. That was actually the path I took. I went with the S1, and a week later, I had an S2 and a TX16S from Radio Master. And then the hobby just kind of exploded from there. Yeah, you won't be wrong with SAB. They're definitely a gold standard, as everybody says, and well deserved for sure. Swash guide there. 1, 2, 3. Let's get the first one in to fasten it in place. Alrighty. I also got an RS4. Oh, hey man, I understand totally. When I first got into the hobby, because I didn't understand, like I really nitpicked and molded over on electronics. Like, what can I do? And yeah, you know, because you'll hear one person swear up and down by brand A, and the next person will be, oh, they suck. Like MKS, perfect example. They're expensive. They're not cheap. They're top shelf servos, and yet you'll hear people that they're terrible at my $4,000 bird crash because okay, you know, I guess there's horror stories for everything. Just like you see pictures on the internet of Scorpion motors on fire and Scorpion ESC's tank, and yet they're $500 ESC. You know, it's like $550 or whatever for the one I got from my Genesis. So torque, I don't want to call them B shelf because they're not B shelf. They're good. They're really good. They're KST servos, and they're Heli Direct rebranded. So they put their own house name on it. And the reason I end up getting them often is they come with a nice control box for there it is. So must have. But yeah, you can change them and program them, set their center and everything. You know, where I tune people out is when they become just hardcore slobbering fanboys and they can't accept you know, criticism. Like I love SAB, but I will take criticism. Fuck, I mean, I was doing that in this build even. I'll do it with any build. And there's retard fanboys on both sides of the aisle, no matter what brand. They're just like, they would, no, dude, I don't need to join no cult. Thank you, pass. Like, this one idiot was trying to tell me if I needed metal gimbals, Mikado would have given them to me. Like, oh my God, dude. Or, you know, the people who own metal gimbals are right. They're pretty damn good. Actually, after I'm done with this build here, I'm going to be switching over to I got 2 on the shelf and 2 more planned for this summer. As soon as the logo comes out, I'm going to scoop one of those up for sure, and then I'm kind of waffling around if I'm going to do a nitro after that. And whatever SAB has for their 580 class, 600 size, you know. I really hope it's like a Kraken. A successor to the Kraken, because I want the full canopy look. So have you decided like if you're gonna go up in size after your S2, which is a good choice, by the way. You'll hear me piss and moan about my S2, but that's I just had bad luck. I had a real lemon, and I've literally rebuilt that thing except for the flight controller and the main motor. But I've rebuilt that thing from the ground up, and it's horrifying to fly. So I gave up. I put it on a shelf. I picked up an Evo Mark II and a Logo 200. But I was done with micro helis until Goose Sky announced their Rotoflight S2, and I was like, oh, I might get that one. But 400 is a good jump up for you. S4. Yeah, the RS4 Venom. I own one. Let's see, over here. I'll pull that out for you. Here it is. Yeah, this Venom's a good helicopter, for sure. It I will never get another direct drive in this size class before. Not hating on it, but that's why the aficionados are, because they complain about the motor bogging or whatever. I now that I do pinion and geared systems, I'm on team separate motor and no more direct drive. It's a great craft though. No, nothing wrong with it. It's a really good. If it's your first build, good on you. It's a good first build, and especially if you're graduating from an S1, the S2, and you got your basics down. The other recommendation is the Steam AK420. But as far as like which is the superior craft, this hands down, no doubt about it. But it also costs more when you crash. So, do you want to go with the cheap budget stuff for look at the Steam AK420, and it's a piece of shit build. But I got it as a trainer specifically for I'll fly buddy box in tandem with my wife. She got a TX 15 radio. Yeah, so if you're worried about like the cost of crashing and everything, then yes, an AK420 is about as cheap as it gets. It literally would. I mean, just go look at the parts. They're on par with your S1 or your S2. It gets crazy how cheap the parts are on it. All right, time to start cleaning and doing the screws here. Yeah, I remember those days. I'm not that far ahead of you, my dude. I have I can hover and do some figure eights. But for me, though, it's the build. That's the vast majority of my enjoyment. Really comes from just the soothing, calming build. Some people will plow through and they'll get their kit assembled overnight. Like, nope, not happening. If it takes me 20 plus hours, that's pretty well average. And shit, I'm on page 8 of 32. Yeah, definitely the bigger the bill. Well, they go up logarithmically in cost for sure. Is that a low battery? I bet you anything that's a low battery sound. Hold on. There we go. Oh, right on, rock colors. Yeah, yeah. I got an SCX 10 crawler kit, and I just picked up the servos that I wanted for it. I went with Reefs RC for the servos, and then I chose the new Hobby Wing all-in-one ESC motor combo that comes in the barrel. And then for I went against the mold, and I went with an ELRS radio. So I got a TX12, and while I am not a fan of the garbage screen in the TX12, the fact that it's ELRS for that ultra precision nuance control, you know, for technical crawling and whatnot. And no, I'm not an expert. I've never built a rock crawler, but that's my idea was, well, I might as well do it right. And I wanted the least amount of latency and best responsiveness I could, so that's why I opted for the ELRS. I wish FreeSky would have had an ELRS option, otherwise I would have picked up one of their radios. Or sorry, FlySky. I guess there's like a really nice $500 FlySky radio. I can't remember the name of it, yeah. For the SCX10, I'm gonna 3D. I found a cool cab on Maker World. It's 3D printed. It looks kind of like a Humvee. That's what I'm gonna do for the cab or the canopy. I had thought of all kinds of different, like spray painting and, you know, making it look like a Jeep from Jurassic Park. But then I saw this 3D printed design. I was like, oh, cool, yeah, I'll 3D print a canopy. And that'll look, and then add some LED lights and whatnot. Maybe even put like a little dash cam inside so I can put on FPV goggles and pretend like I'm rolling around in a $150,000, $200,000 rig. I got a nice truck, but there's no way I'll go rock crawling in it. No, not a chance. I'll do, it's for overlanding and traveling in comfort on the you know, take the family to or camping trips for like a couple weeks out in the desert, but not, when I see people beating up their trucks and Jeeps and nope, pass. Can't do that. Ooh, 4-in-1. Ouch. Oh, I made the same mistake too, man. Because I listened to everybody who said 4-in-1, 4-in-1. Like, ELRS is the future. 4-in-1 is if you're backwards thinking. And I literally, I finally just gave up a couple weeks ago, and I pulled out my 4-in-1 module and I put in an ELRS module, and I never wanted. I'm done with that. No way. I don't need this. It's the whole point of getting a Radio Master for me on anything is I always lean ELRS. Always. Well, you know, whatever. Lessons learned. I love ELRS for sure. And everybody who's on it is like, they wouldn't shut up about it. Well, yeah, you're right. It's insta connects, reliable connects. If it disconnects, it insta reconnects. Yes, latency and distance. I mean, especially like the hardcore FPV scene for sure. But well, for example, like my 4-in-1, there were times where it just, I couldn't get it to connect. It wouldn't connect, and I'd be pulling out, and then but with the ELRS, instantly every damn time I plug in my radio, the receiver's automatically picked up. Now, the shit sky flight controller deciding whether or not it wants to read and connect, that's a different story. That may take a battery session or two to, get go. But that's shade on Goose Sky and their flight controllers and their avionics and their software. But like my Radio Master Nexus, all their larger helicopters, fail safe. Damn, it's been a flawless everything, and it always 100%. As soon as I plug it in, I've got a signal and I'm ready to rock. Let's see, next is Radio Master. They're good. I encourage everybody, if you're getting into the hobby and you don't have it, go with your Radio Master as a bread and butter entry point. The Edge TX is intimidating, it's frustrating, but you're doing yourself a favor in the long run by taking the path of pain and going with open source, learning about how to set up your mixers and your controls, and you have a better overall understanding as you progress. And it's forced on you. You don't have a choice. And these other systems, like Mikado and Icon and all, they are great. I'm not bashing them at all. I mean, I have a V-Bar. I'm looking forward to my V-Bar adventures. But it's paint by numbers. It really is. And there's pros and cons to that. And I understand why people want to have a hand-holding session. You spend literally weeks setting up your first rotoflight helicopter, trying to learn everything, and it's far less painful now than it used to be, definitely. And the community's great. They're really good at helping, and there's a lot of videos and tutorials out there too as well. Where like Mikado or Icon and all those differences, Spirit, it's step 1, click here, step 2, step 3, all the way through. It's fantastic. So but they are not cheap. You're paying your. I don't mind the $1,300 price tag for the radio, but what I I just disagree with their flight controller. It's pretty pricey at $270, but then they give you a big middle finger with charging you an extra 120 or 150 bucks or whatever to have a rescue feature. Well, that's an insurance policy for your finger. You get backed into a corner, you have a quick rescue. And that's wrong. And I disagree with that price model. That shows contempt for your customer, where you can't just have a simple toggle switch. It's already built into every flight controller. Just give the people the damn rescue button. I'll never defend that. I just think it's an anti-consumer practice for milking money. You know, do price anchoring or whatever. Charge $400 outright. Then people won't be so butthurt. That's good there. Well, if you're getting into adventures of all this, go join go join a Discord channel. And 2 reasons. Step one, I have a question. Type it in the search function. Chances are somebody's already asked that question. It's been covered a million times. Good. You've got your instant answer. But step 2, I really am stuck. Okay, ask for help, and you get live help instantly. Well, maybe take an hour or 2, but yeah, the Discord is a really good place to just sit in there and read and grow and do your research. And I had my period where I was asking tons of questions. But now I've gotten to the point where if I have a question, I typically can go search for it and figure out the answer without having to ask anybody else for help. I'm not afraid to ask for help, though. If you need it, you need it. And there's you'll run into people who are douchebags. And they can go fuck themselves. But for the most part, most people are pretty cool. Do you have any links to Discord? Not here on any of my tablets or anything. No. Go to the Reddit, RC Hellion, the Reddit, or actually go to the Discord itself and just RC Video Reviews. His channel on YouTube has a link to his Discord, and he'll run into tons of people, and then that'll eventually help you matriculate into like the Edge TX Discord and the ELRS Discord and the Rotoflight 2 Discord, and there's a lot of Discord channels out there, and it's a community. There's a lot of people that intermingle amongst them. So you basically you find one, and then it just eventually grows into all the other Discord channels. But yeah, RC Video Reviews YouTube channel. If you go look at his. And I'm gonna thank you for asking that question. I'm gonna put a pin, I guess, I'll ask John if I can, but I'll put a pin to his Discord channel on my public page. Oh, for sure, for sure. All right, that one good. All right, good. Now. Let's see. 3, 4 more there. 1, 2. Bag 8, 4, 5. All right, good. All right. Yeah. I say it all the time. Like, this is my Zen moment. I love building. And I will drag it out and take my time. Every bolt, every fastener, every washer, every shim. They get their individual care. The bane of my existence, the only thing that I do not enjoy is soldering. I suck at soldering. I have spent hundreds of dollars on soldering equipment, and I actually finally got a really nice one. Well, I had a nice one to begin with. And not so like it was like a 80 or 120 watt unit or something, and I bought a big Weller gun and base stations, and finally I went with I can't remember the brand name. This one. FNRSI. And I had my first nightmare-free soldering session getting these battery connectors up and running. And then I made a bunch of leads here too. And I think I paid $150 for it on Amazon. They have a base kit for like 120, but then for an extra $40, I got a bunch of extra bits. Option B is I was going to go down to the local hobby shop and be like, hey, look, because they offer soldering, you know, it's like $2 or $3 per what is wrong with this? Something not right. I got the wrong fastener in here. Yeah, that's why. Wrong fastener. Oh, these were for the servo. That's why. I was using the wrong screws. I meant to get these in. Pre-tin, yeah, I pre-tin. I suck. I mean, I'm terrible. It's art and science, you know, and I've been getting better at it. But boy oh boy, did I go through just dozens of practice connectors. And I'd melt the plastic on the, you know, I'd get the wire so hot it would burn my fingers like 6-8 inches away, and just redo this one, make sure it's good. It's still though, I mean, no shame in it. We'll see how I feel when I get to my Genesis Sport, but I may just take that machine into the local hobby shop and talk to because there's a few guys that solder there, but everyone says, hey, just have the owner do it. If you want the absolute best possible, I don't mind paying. I'll pay the extra, just so I have something professional grade. But until then, I got other craft. I'll do it. I'll do my own work as much as I can. But you know, if I want to have artisan level finished product, and I'm confident I can get that on everything but the soldering myself. So I like taking my sweet time with everything. Dimple, right, and why? Huh. Okay. That's the way they want it done. There we go here. Wrong way. Backwards. So let's keep that in for. I'll pull it out. Hotness. This house is hot. Yeah, well, you know, this hobby's filled with them. One person finds is acceptable, another person is gonna be like, no, I'm not putting up with that. I try to be, you know, golden rule, motherfucker. To quote Lucy McLean. Try to treat people good and cool. And I'll put up with bullshit a lot. But then I'll reach a breaking point. I'm like, you know what? Get fucked. Because it irks the shit out of me when you're trying to be polite and courteous to somebody and they're just a constant smug punk. It fucking wears out. Saying, okay, faith, yep, because the horn is going to go in. All right. Am I going to regret not installing my servo horns already? It's not too late. I better do that now. I don't want to take them off later when I go to center my servos. gonna suck. Yep, I'm gonna have to. Actually, no, wait, that's a Phillips. Let's see. Phillips. Can I? I can. Okay. I'll get the servo horn on later. I wanted to center it before I actually went through and you can get a Phillips in here. Yeah, I get a servo in there. So I like to fire them up, get them powered, and then get the horn on and find the center. Okay, page 8.1, and this is for centering the horns. And I have I don't like these. I never did. I never did like the servo horns that came with the Torx. They're standard. Like I know, but they're like they're geared towards aircraft always. And then I gotta shave and cut them down. Anyway, it's not a deal breaker. But it'd be nice if they had some standard heli-sized servo lengths on these horns. And that goes into the spare bin. Do that tomorrow. I think I'm gonna read your comment here. There's this stupid heart icon getting in the way of trying to. I think the setting of the heli on the radio would be challenging. How do you know what pitches and such a set, or do you have existing model basically copy? Both. What? Well, okay. You have existing models, like for if I whip out my transmitter, my Radio Master, I have a single profile, and it covers all my ELRS craft, which is all my that are on Roto Flight. Sorry. And then I have a separate profile for my S1 and then another one for my S2. Now they're both almost damn near identical, but they're just bound to different receivers. For my Radio Master profile that pilots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 or 7 craft. They all fly off of the same radio profile. Same switch layouts, curves, mixes, everything. And then the individual craft is programmed on the flight controller itself. Through, Rotoflight, for example. And then as far as like geometry and everything is concerned, like there's tons of YouTube videos out there. Some of them are really old and they're still effective today. And then there's other ones that are done in like the last year or two, and with a Rotoflight specifically in mind. And yes, they are a little dated. They're only like 10 to 15 months old, and there's new versions of Rotoflight out there. But the same principles carry through, just different interface on the UI graphically, with a few functions that used to exist that they took out because they were overkill and not needed, I guess. I don't know. Your best bet is to really go through and watch the YouTube videos, and it is an overwhelming amount to learn, but you're already got a big leg up when you got an S1 and an S2. So using your one previous, and the System X Discord, they have a profile. I resisted for a while, and I downloaded their profile, and it was like 90% what I wanted exactly, and that I didn't even know I wanted. Their logic functions and everything, their switch layout was very thoughtful. There was a couple things that I swapped out and did my own thing. And then I added some extra features that I wanted, but their profile, their radio profile is a really good one. And in the app, I plug in one helicopter, loads it up, and it registers. It's my Gemini, and then I'll plug in the next one. And the RS4 Venom is up and running. And each flight controller has their own unique profile and characteristics with geometry and everything. And then just the mixes are your standard, inputs. Oh, shibby dibby doo. All right. Now the cool part. You could put you away for now. Page 9. And frame. Are they identical? Oh, please tell me that's the tail servo. That is gangster. I didn't know they did that with this. They have a front-mounted tail servo. I hope that's true. I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna go ahead. Ha! Love it. Love it. All right. So the tail servo is mounted up inside the nose of the craft, underneath the ESC. Cool. It's for me aesthetically because it just looks cooler and cleaner to have the tail servo not hanging out the back like a big turd coming out of butthole. But from an engineering perspective, it gives you a tighter center of gravity. And no mistake about it, this is a high performance 400 size craft. It is designed for all manner of badassery. You suck. There. Currently, these microbursts are. We recommend deburring the edges to minimize risk of electrical wire cuts. Okay. All right, so. So they're warning people about. Well, I don't fret about that because I paracord wrap my servo lines, and I use shrink wrap, so I don't have to worry about burring. But yeah, some of the new craft that are coming out, they burr and round it out. I'm not gonna. We recommend deburring the edges to minimize risks of electrical wire cuts. It's very important to do this along the red lines. Well, I am sleeving my cables. And that's a part of my pre-flight check anyways, to see if any of the sleeving got frayed. Which, I have craft that have dozens of flights in them, and nope, no issue yet. I'm not cutting a corner so much as I don't want to sit there with sandpaper and have uneven shaving done. All right. Back to this though. Are they identical? If they're identical looking to me so far. Nope, this one. All right. Self-tapping. Well, it wouldn't matter anyways. There's a burr in here and it comes from both sides. It's for the battery assembly. Wouldn't matter if it's left or right plate. Okay. Alright. What have we got here? Why? Bottom canopy centering. Front canopy centering. So interesting. Hey, trust the process. Alcohol. All right, back to this. Very interesting. And okay, that's the way they do it. And then this one goes on the bottom. Very it shows without Loctite. say no Loctite, I'll take their word for it. No Loctite. Well, it's not a structural supporting anything, which that's fine. Self-tapping screws. Rear. Upwards. Two holes here. All right, so the one in the rear. You can come in. It's fine.
We're just gonna get milk.
I'm sure. He said, "Milk me."
Okay. Ready, goodbye. Oh wow, you're so happy.
Uh-huh.
You're building the 420?
Yep.
How far along are you?
10%.
Oh my gosh. Really?
Of course, it'll take days.
There you go, honey.
Oh, yes, my dude. We had an awesome Christmas with kids that are too young to really know how good they have it compared to their mom and dad, for sure. They'll hear all the stories about how we walked both ways uphill, you know. My lesson learned though was they're
You want water too?
they're easily impressed with presents. So I did not need to go ham. What I thought would be the knockout with my daughter, she didn't even care. It was the cheap $5 book. That's what she was obsessed with. She wants her book. And my son, he was the car. So there you go. I guess I'm gonna have it easy for the next few Christmases. And then they're gonna want their PlayStation 10 and a car.
Is that your car?
No, 13 already, yeah. So you're getting to the painful stage. Oh, I'm not looking forward to it myself either.
Oh, is that your dada on the TV? Honey, he said dada.
Yeah, he sees the stream on the TV. Alright, let's double check. Mounts for the canopy. Check. Oh, this is just for the cheek of the canopy. Okay, I see.
Stop it, Rain. You're about to hit the edge of the console.
Alright, page 11. Or 10, I mean. You're about to get banished. Yeah.
Hey, sweetie. We're gonna go watch it in the bedroom, huh?
All right.
Yeah, let's go.
Ain't good. uh, yeah. Well, I'm just talking's cool because you have lots of fun reciprocating your love back. I dig it. Self tappers. All right. 10. Let's see. Oh my God. Next. Front. A little bigger actually than the S4. The blades on the S4 are actually 380 millimeters. It can take up to 420. I mean, well, okay, you're right. This splitting hairs, this can go as low as 380, but it's meant to be a 420 size machine. I'm sure you stick them side by side and they're going to be definitely within an inch of each other. But this is definitely in a different class though. It's because it's actually a geared transmission system running off of its own individual motor. S4 is direct drive. You're not wrong with either choice. S4 is a good machine. I think you would be wrong if you picked the all-in-one kit. You're better. Because the all-in-one kit, it just comes with their flight controller, a rebranded Hobbywing ESC. The servos are okay. They're rebranded, I think, KSTs. So it's just I have a great disdain for Goose Guy's avionics software, and that's just experience. But for $700, an all-encompassing kit with flight controller, ESC, servos, that's a tall order to fill. I don't think you can do it any better than that. Personally, though, I would just go for if you're gonna go with the Goose Guy, the S4, do get their base kit. They're typically around $400. Sometimes you get them on sale for in the 370, 380 range. And then pick your own servos and ESC and especially the flight controller. That's where you're really winning. You put a Nexus flight controller in there for like $60, and RotoFlight 2 is free. A cheap flight controller and a banging awesome avionics software package. I'd take that any day of the week over the Goose Guy all-in-one kit that includes their flight controller and their software and everything. No, pass. It's a hard pass. But then if you go like something like this SAB 420, great machine. You're not going to be able to replace your tail boom for, $15 when you crash. That's a carbon fiber mold. It's going to be $60, $70. And that's where it stings when you do bite the dust. Not something that I personally worry about anymore because I'm not an aggressive flyer. I'm very gentle and laid back. These are the canopy mounts. No, I don't regret my RS4 Venom. I think it's a great machine. But after I did the Venom, and then I got a pair of 550s and then a 700, and then I got a 520, and I thought I was done with 400 size machines, but the paint scheme on this It's just so beautiful. I couldn't resist. I said, fuck it, I'll buy it. I'll build it. If anything, just hang it on. That's selfish, I guess. But yeah, hang it on the wall. I don't care. It's my hobby. I'll enjoy it the way I want. And if somebody wants to go build a $5,000-$10,000 machine, hover it for 10 seconds, probably me. But anyway, you know, it's their hobby to enjoy the way they want. And if somebody comes swinging at them with some hashtag get good, like, okay. No, don't need to. I already got my enjoyment. Okay. Battery tray mounts and Loctiting. Oh, simulator. I don't know which one you got. I think they're all pretty good. They serve their purpose. I've got half a dozen of them, and the one I like the best is HeliX. And I go back to the other simulators from time to time. I'm like, yep, this is why I like HeliX better. The game changer, though, was when I got VR. I just resisted, dragged my feet, because I didn't want to set up the base stations in the family room, and then I got kids tugging on cables and ripping cubes off the walls. But I went and got myself a Meta Quest 3 because I just couldn't wait any longer for Valve to release their new successor to the Index. And I'll tell you what, getting VR and a helicopter simulator was just such a radical improvement to everything. I mean, people are 100% right when they glaze it. It is the way to go. If you have the opportunity for VR and a simulator, you will not say it was a bad idea. You're literally taking off and the craft is in your living room. And your head gets to respond and track naturally. Like you would out there on the field. Your depth perception, all of it. It goes right hand in hand with an immediate and instant skill up. So yeah, and I fucked up, and now I know what the burr was. Son of a bitch. It's not the end of the world, it's just an annoyance. Gotta back this out. Nope, that's not going to be enough. Real flight. I have that too. My dad's got Real Flight. It's where I bash and throw shade at Real Flight is it's a catalog for Hobby Horizon. And then the other thing I don't like is they charge you for every little expansion pack and upgraded bird, and it's like, come on. But I mean, it is a good sim. Though. It's not a bad sim. It wouldn't be popular if it was a bad sim. And damn, I think that was the original. I remember that when I was a kid back in the 90s. I think it was Real Flight. On a Pentium 90. I thought I was big ballin' with a Pentium 90. Oh, but you know, if you had a 486, like a DX266, you were like, wow. I mean, people get the DX3. Oh my god! And then I came along and my dad was like, Pentium 60, Pentium 90, 30 extra megahertz. Oh. Why? I grew up with a Commodore 64. That was probably the greatest computer ever made. I died of the Commodore 64 with a good reason. What an amazing machine. An absolute revolutionary. I mean, you know, the Tandys and the Omegas, and Omega, of course, everybody wanted one of those. But Helix, yes, that is what I use. I've got Next, I've got AccuRC2, I've got Phoenix, Real Flight. Can't remember what other one I have. Most of them are dated and don't work, or they're not under active development anymore. Helix is constantly being worked on and patched. It's got a good community behind it. And users will upload their own craft that they've worked on to get the physics as close as they can to real life. And it's a simulator. It's never gonna. You're right. It never will be real life, but it does a really damn good job at building muscle memory, for sure. I think how I intuitively fly now, compared to when I first got into this hobby. I just ended my second season, so yeah, I've been in the hobby for 2 years. I'm a noob. I'm a noob who I can hover. In the simulator, everybody's a gangster, though. One guy tried to tell me I don't do simulator because it just teaches you bad habits. What? Because you get too aggressive. I'm like, what? And that's why you have a beat up, mangled fleet, my guy. Never balk a simulator. Ever. I mean, people can cry and poo-poo the physics. They go, fine, you're not replicating real life. You're getting a close approximation. It's the muscle memory. And I was asking, I think it was Helicopter RC Richard or whatever, his channel. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it, but he does a lot of how-to videos on helicopters and simulators. Excellent series. But I was in a live stream, and I asked him, I was like, how does it try? And he said it perfectly. He says, I find that I end up overcorrecting in real life compared to what I would do in the simulator, but absolutely the simulator is a foundational muscle memory. So there you go. Is it real life? No. But it is it's touted for a reason. Interesting. So they don't have that one with Loctite, but this one they do. Buttonhead cap, blue Loctite, buttonhead cap, no Loctite. That interesting. Whatever. I'll take their word for it, though. Where do I have some pliers? It should work. Alright. I don't know why they don't want Loctite on this one, but I take their word for it. There's nothing that says I can't tighten it down though. Alright. Oh, for sure. Definitely. I'm glad you got some value out of this. Yeah, I figured that when I do builds from now on, I'll just throw on a camera and live stream. And some people are like, oh, you took me 20 hours. I'm like, yeah, well, it took me 20 hours. But you're the reason that made it worth it right now, just for that alone. So I thank you too. All right, page 11. Alrighty. 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 11, and 12. Yeah, like that over there. Damn right. Damn right. If you, but I will shout out for people who take the time and edit their videos, cut, give you the meat and potatoes of what you really need to look at. They focus their camera, they change it around. They're very clear with their descriptions on everything. West Hobbies RC is probably my favorite channel to go to when I wanted to learn how to do helicopter builds. He's very good at really explaining what and why he's doing what he's doing. And not me. I don't have the discipline or attention span to sit there and try to edit and cut. So shout out to people who want to do that. Because there are some professional grade YouTube channels out there. For sure. Not me. I'm just here to chill. In fact, he's got a really good RS4 Venom build. That was my first build that and I paused it and I would rewind and slow-mo and frame by frame. And his Goose Guy RS4 build is excellent. Yeah, just a good pilot, definitely. Let's see. And that was a lot of bolts they gave. Button head 2x5x6, button head 2x5x6, 1, 2, 3, 4. Button head 2.5x6, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hope I counted that right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Socket head screws. 2x5x6 socket head. 1, 2. 1, 2. And they're going into frame spacer. I think I'll go with that one first. Frame spacer it is. Jeff West, actually, he was the second channel. The first channel I stumbled into, I don't even know how it happened. It was last July and last year. And I saw this old grainy video, and it was like 3D helicopter smack something or other, and it was on the side of a freeway. And it looked like it was in the rain or the wind or something. I don't know. It was really bad video quality, but it was by this dude named Tarek. And when I saw that helicopter ripping around and ring, 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 all everywhere, I was like, "What the? Oh my god!" And that hooked me on the hobby instantly. It was not the same RC helicopters that I remember as a kid in the 90s. Not even close. It was a whole new evolution in machining and hardware and everything. And then for like the next week, I obsessed over everything RC helicopters, and I had an S1 on the way within days of that, and it just exploded after that. And they say the hobby's dying. And that sucks, because I'm right when I'm getting into it. Frame spacer goes through second one. Good. Now, when I'm doing frames, I do not Loctite my frames. It's actually the last thing I do. After the helicopter's been assembled, I will pull each one out, and then I will give it the individual attention each fastener needs. And probably the majority of people would disagree and say, no, it's not needed. Well, I'm just ensuring that I have a straighter, more rigid frame versus on the fly as you go. So any kind of frame assembly, I don't tighten it down. I just get it in place. You know, just barely that finger tight, whatever. And then I'll go through at the end of the build, and I'll just buy the numbers. I'll start at the center near the top, and I'll work my way down and out. And I'll just do alternating sides. till I get every major fastener in. And so that'll be this page here, starting at page 11. Yeah, Tarek. I see him. He has a lot of brand sponsorships. You know, like X Nova. Well, shit. I mean, here's his X Nova motor. I didn't so much get it because it was Tarek had his name on it. More of, I think it was $150, maybe $140. Oh shit, maybe it might have been 130. Anyways, whatever. I compared it to, I was going to get an Ego Drift or an equivalent X-Nova, and then I just thought, I was like, oh, okay, this is like $20. And I don't think that's a bad choice. I got at least one in the lineup with his name on it. And this was not, when I built this craft and I picked out my software and everything, I wasn't going for top shelf. I mean, you know, I put an XD Fly ESC in. They're great ESCs. They're, but it was what, like a 85 amp? What are they? $65, $80, something like that. $80, I think. You know, you get a Scorpion ESC, you're gonna pay double. Or 2.5 times as much. But yeah, I don't really process or think that, like, for example, I would never put a V-bar in this. That's half or a third of the cost of the helicopter right there. You know, putting a $400 V-bar setup in. And I'll put it in a $3,000-$4,000 helicopter, sure. I don't mind a $400 flight controller. But when you have an aircraft and a third of your cost is just in the flight controller alone, like, fuck that. I don't know, but no, I don't nickel and dime, but I am pragmatic, I guess you could say. You know, the 520 is going to have a V-bar in it, but it's also it's a step up. This is a 400 size machine. That's a 500 class. So it's a mid-tier medium machine, whereas, you know, this would be considered a smaller. Let's see. Hmm. All right. All right. There we go. Yeah, well, you are not going to be upset when you build your first Saab. Definitely. I mean, my goal when I got started on this, I wanted to build at least one of every brand out there, or at least the major brands, you know. And after my first Saab, I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. I want another one, and another one, and another one. And I'm already plotting for the next one. I'm excited to see what they're gonna next year. I mean, everybody knows that it's gonna be a 580. They're pretty cool about staggering their lineup. If you look at their whole overall history, it's they're not pulling some shit like here's a 200 size machine that's a revolutionary game changer, and then 6 months later, oh, here's another 200 size machine. It's the real version that we should have released. No. That's a quick way to burn my good graces. I don't care what the excuses are. You are milking your customer. And people get upset. Oh, Saab releases it. Yeah, you know what? But what they do? They did a 700, then they did a 400, then they did an alternate 700, then they did a 500, and then they went back down to another 400 that was in a bit. So they spread it out and bounce it around. Now, if they had me go out and buy, you know, some gangster 700 class machine, and then 6 months later, oh, here's the real 700 gangster machine that was really in the pipeline, I'd be bent out of shape. I'd be just ready to riot and burn cities to ash. But I have an expectation Saab's gonna have 2 580 class machines, maybe 550 to 600. We'll just call it a 580 there, because you can put your 560 or 610 blades on it. And there's going to be a raw version, ultra precision smasher equivalent, you know, in ill, and then hopefully, if we're lucky, and what I want is a full style canopy. You know, like a Kraken or a Drake. I almost got a Kraken here during their set, because they were down to like 20% off, I think. $700 for the Kraken kit. I ended up getting a 520 and this 420. But I was really close to adding a Kraken to the list. What got me to steer away from it was the I'm spoiled on the rear battery loading tray. Without having to take Kraken, you got to take your canopy off. And I just didn't feel it. I want to do that. Some people don't mind. They're cool with that. I want the canopy to go on and stay on. But I'm like the Goose guys. I don't like the open jaw where you got battery cables hanging out. I like the clean look that Saab gives you. I'm with people. I don't like the open canopy where you can see all the guts and maybe there's some people that like that for the weight savings, but I like the full canopy look. Which is why I'm really hoping for some kind of successor to the Kraken. I know. It's well, what I end up doing is with my wife, we deliberate, and she'll like, what are your goals for, like, she was doing our 2026 budget like a couple weeks ago actually now, and she just, what's your wish list for the things that you want to have? And it doesn't mean I have to commit to getting them, and it also means that if there's other things that come in along the way, that's not a big deal either. But you still try to have a pragmatic view. And my wish list was, I'm gonna get a H2C for bamboo, and probably a 500 or 600 size Voron. And then I wanted a logo, 700, whatever SAB has in the 600, and I want to do a nitro, probably a Soxos, but I don't know yet. And then it was an RC plane. I can't remember now. It was like an extra 300, an ARF. But no, we just planning in advance. Like, I want, these are my top 5 things that I want to get for helicopters or whatever. And if you overshoot that estimate, which of course is going to happen, you don't beat yourself up over it. Enjoy the hobby. And then we try to plan quarterly. Like, okay, when are you expecting it? Quarter 1 is going to be these 3, and then quarter 2 and 3, I'm not expecting anything to come out that I want. And in quarter 4, I'm going to get this, this, and this. I think it's better to do a household budget that way. You're planning in advance the things you're going to want to get. But then you also have your other lines, your savings, your investments, your stocks, your portfolio, your 401k, all the other future planning stuff. Set aside for those too. Yeah, I like being married to an accountant. She is really good with fiscal planning and forecasting, for sure. And then, all right, that is done. These are all just very loosely tightened. Oh yeah, for sure. Priorities. Alright, bag 13. Oh, alright, this is gonna be the head. Yep. Alright, we are 13. I think it's probably bag 14, page 13. Page 13, 13.1. 16. 13 is here. Where's page 14? 16, 17, 18, 19. I'm missing a page. $21, $20. Ah, page 14. There we go. I bundled it up, so I had pages 1 through 10, 11 through 20, and then 21 and beyond. Alright, we're good. Crisis averted. Page 14. Page 15. Page 16. Okay. 18, 19, 16, 15, 14, page 13, 1, 13, 2. All right. Oh, this is the sexy part, the blade grips and the whole head assembly. And that takes a fresh, clean, clear mind. So I think this is where I'm going to cut it off. Thank you everybody for hopping in and viewing. I may stream again later tonight after a nap, I don't know. Or I may just cut it off here for the next day or two. Who knows? Glad everybody got a chance to pop in. And we'll see when the next one happens. Thank you. Oh, I never mess with the nitro flows. A buddy of mine has one of it and doesn't care. Yeah, they're a constant mess. I will still probably end up getting one eventually one day.